AITA for not letting my coworker test drive my wife's new car? Context: hello, me, 31M, and my wife, 30F, decided that we might try to start a family of our own after landing stable jobs and buying our first house together. During this, I asked my wife if she could get her license. She never bothered as she lived in Boston before meeting and marrying me, as I couldn't ferry our family everywhere and try get to work. So, I got my wife a old beater and gave her some driving lessons along with a driving instructor, and she passed. She was happy with driving the car I got her, but I thought I should treat her. Up till now, I drove a 2011 Civic. As a family, neither of us have ever had a new car. So I put together some of my savings and bought her a brand new Mercedes A220, which she loved. Now let's get to the main bit of this. About a month after getting the Merc, my car, the Civic, decided to give up the ghost. When I took it to the repair shop, they said it had various issues, including wiring issues, causing it to stop supplying power to the engine randomly. My wife told me to take her car to work that day, so I took, and as I parked up in the lot, a coworker, let's call him X, came up to me from his car. He started asking about the car and asked the price and where my Honda went. When I started telling him what happened to my car, he cut me off midway through and asked if he could test the car, at which point I told him it was my wife's and that I would like to keep it pristine for her. He gave me a bit off a look and stormed into the office block. As I walked up, I got a few weird looks, and when I sat down next to my work buddy, he said that X told everyone in the office that I am a a-hole and that I have changed into a snob after getting a new car. I don't understand what I did wrong other than maybe not letting him drive the car. It would help if someone could give me some light on this. Thank you. NTA. If he wants to test drive it, he can go to a dealership. He doesn't need to drive your wife's new car. If this continues, I'd report him. He shouldn't be talking crap behind your back at work because he asked a yes/no answer and didn't like the answer you gave. He's creating a hostile work environment because you don't want to let someone else drive something that isn't yours, like a human with empathy has, not someone who thinks just because he asked you have to do whatever he wants. NTA. My car's a decade old at this point, and I only let my wife drive it. Plus, in the very unlikely event something happened, it would be an insurance nightmare for you since your coworker wouldn't be a covered driver. NTA. I'd make a point of telling excited stories about your wife's new car and how grateful you are to her for letting you drive it when your own car broke down, just to make sure your coworkers know your side of the story. From your description, it sounds like your weird coworker may have described what happened in a slightly inaccurate way. You may report your coworker to HR for this incident. He is not entitled to use the car, much more it was your wife's. Tell HR that you do not appreciate that he changed the narrative of the situation because he did not get what he wanted, and that the entitlement of him is astounding to think it was okay for you. He does not get to ruin your name and reputation, and you will just take it. It would be best to have an incident report regarding this issue. NTA. I don't allow anyone to drive my vehicle ever. Not with insurance companies continuously jacking up rates. You made the right call, never mind it's your wife's car, but you don't know what kind of driver this person is, and in my experience, anyone wanting to test drive someone else's car usually means they want to see how fast it can go. Even if you gave him permission, if your wife is listed as the owner, he wouldn't have the owner's permission, and therefore wouldn't be covered by any insurance policy. If he wants to test drive a Merc, he can go to the Mercedes dealer like everyone else. NTA. You did nothing wrong. It's very weird he would have the audacity to even ask, let alone get huffy when you said no. You have no obligation to let anyone drive any of yours or your wife's vehicles. You should tell everyone why he is calling you a snob, because you said he couldn't drive your car. NTA. I don't care what the new car was. It could have been a Corolla, and I wouldn't have let a random coworker drive it. However, I got a question why you went straight from, I bought her a beater and I own a 13-year-old Civic, to, so I bought her a brand new Merc. Why did you do that? I'm assuming you and your wife both work high-figure jobs and can easily afford the new car? NTA. You're not a snob for not wanting another person to drive your vehicle. Insurance guidelines are a thing, and if one mistake happens, it's not going to be covered if another person is driving it. You can't guarantee that he has insurance to cover him as a driver. A lot of people only cover them driving in their own car. The fact that he went inside and tried to tell people did something wrong because you won't let him drive the car is just weird and messy. I agree with other suggestions that you should say something to HR.